And on today's show, how to get ready for a life insurance exam. Part 2 of this week's series, Preparing for a Life Insurance Exam with paramedical examiner Kevin Jensen. Hi everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and contributing author to Backroom Technician in Innsmouth. Let's get down to business. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Hey, thanks for having me here.
Well, day 2. Well, if you missed yesterday's show, I just exhort you to go back out, watch it. This whole week, you're going to get really great ideas. If you're a registered rep, you say, I hardly ever do life insurance. This will be a very revealing show, really help you out. If you're a person that says, hey, Steve, I just wanted to know about this because I'm an annuity person or I'm in medical, I'd like to know what I have to go through and what my clients have to go through. So today I want to talk about, when we're talking about preparing, I'm thinking about what do I need to do as a client? Right? Now, I have so many clients that have always asked me, Steve, do I have to get undressed in front of this stranger to take an exam?
No. The only time where that will even be an issue is going to be with an EKG. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's electrodes that have to go all over the body, but we always will have female to female, usually 99% of the time. Only time we ever have is a male to male.
When I'm thinking of the exam, and I've taken this myself, they tell you to prep by clearing off your couch, get it all prepped up for it, and have a place where the paramed can put the EKG machine in, hook into it. And as you said, I always dress light, very light, loose t-shirt, loose gym. I wear gym shorts only because I want to try to get as low as I can on the scale. I don't want to take any more clothes than I have to that scale. But when we're laying down for an EKG, they're going to hook us up for this. I'm amazed that we can do this now live in your home, at your office. You said yesterday we're at football stadiums, we're at all kinds of places. Just for curiosity, have you ever had something you'd say, that was the strangest thing I've ever done? What's a location that's just so strange?
Well, probably the trailer is probably one of the most, the person, because here in Arizona, we get a lot of people that come down here for the winter, obviously, because it's gorgeous. But they're down here in their motorhomes. So they have to have that same process done. So in that motorhome is probably kind of one of the stranger ones. A locker room we've done recently. The technology for the EKG machines have come down so dramatically where these machines are so small now, they can be transported in a lot of different areas.
I've noticed that, and I've been in this thing 30 years, they've told us to stop eating 12 to 14 hours out. Now, this is, America's not the most fasting company. We're not we don't kind of meditate and do normal cleansing of our body, and I'm going to blow off eating for 12 hours. I mean, most people say, wow, that's too long, So is that still true that you have to kind of still wait about 12 hours on eating or consuming anything?
Yes, if you look at the medical side of getting these results from the blood draw, a fast of 8 to 12 hours is the best thing you can do. Now, also when to do the time of the fast. There is, obviously would be very difficult, 9 to 5. So that's why we like to do that insurance exam. A very, very popular time is about 8 o'clock in the morning. So that person can fast during that night and then be prepared in the morning for the exam.
I know when I've had my exams over the years, I'm a crack of dawn guy. I'm up early in the morning. I stop eating around 5 and I say, come and get me. I'll take you as early as I can. That paramed, I've noticed that paramedics, now I've had people come to my house at 6 in the morning. How early will they go?
Well, understanding today's environment where people are working multiple different shifts, we've got to be prepared to go at different times. I've done as early as 3 in the morning because this would be when a client was getting ready to go to work, and that was the best time for them. But 6 o'clock is about the earliest.
But 3 o'clock, you've actually had people go there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Exactly.
Wow, that's dedication, I have to say. I thought morning would be the best time. Is morning the best time to do this?
I really think it is. 8 o'clock is probably the popular time to do an exam. You have the chance to rest the body. You have a chance to go through that fasting time. And then when you wake up, the stress level, I believe, is low. And again, a lot of things contribute to that exam.
This is really an important thing, of course. They don't want us to drink coffee before the exam. So we have to they want us to drink water because we're going to have to give a urine sample. Now, I can only confess, and again, Steve Savant's just confessing his, I had to actually, my creatine level was so high, and they thought, well, Steve, you must have some kind of renal problem. And I'm thinking, no, I've never been told I have that, and it found out I was dehydrated. So it must be really important. Those numbers can be greatly affected.
Exactly. You'd be amazed how many people you talk to about if they're actually if they actually drink any water at all. A lot of people will say they don't even like that, so they drink a lot of other things. And the body needs the water. It does a lot of things for that exam.
Well, now, is it still true? No, we do want to avoid coffee, soda, tea, other products with caffeine several hours before the exam.
Exactly. It can affect the heart rate. It can affect the blood pressure. It also, we haven't talked about the needle yet going into the arm.
That's the scary part. We'll catch that right after the break.
Exactly.
Well, when we're thinking about preparing for exam, we're trying to put our best face forward. And we're just trying to do the things to prepare for the exam. When we come back from the break, we're going to continue walking through some of the preparations you can do for your exam. We're trying to give the best results. That's why we're giving you these tips. It's not how much money you make for your clients, it's how much money they get to keep, especially in retirement. But retirement income could cause Social Security benefits to be taxed. One tax advantage alternative is life insurance designed as a non-modified endowment contract that can generate tax-free income without taxing Social Security benefits. These contracts offer differing funding options depending upon your client's risk tolerance. For more information on how life insurance can be part of your retirement planning, just email me at steve@downtobusiness.tv. Brought to you by Ash Brokerage, the practice enhancement company. Well, welcome back to the second segment. Of course, I'm with Kevin Jensen. We're talking about parameds. He's been doing thousands of these over the last almost 10 years. I noticed, and it's so funny, it says avoid smoking and chewing tobacco at least an hour before your scheduled appointment. Now, I would have thought, this is just Steve talking out loud, I have a smoker, I'm already doing an exam, that he might want to try to not smoke at all. But of course, the nicotine level, the production from nicotine, is already in his system, so he's not going to be able to cheat the exam by not smoking for a day, right?
Exactly. A smoker is a smoker, and testing will show that. Like you said, a person that does smoke, if he says he's not, still in the system we have a cotinine. That's what changes to the body, which will show in the result.
I noticed too, it's not just alcoholic beverages. Some of the examiners ask us not to drink any alcohol products 24 hours out.
Exactly. I really think preparing for the exam starts about 12 to 24 hours out. You want to be getting a lot of water in you. The alcohol, the tea, the coffee that can get in you, again, can change the statistics.
Shockingly, I had a client that I did not know this. They told us, I did not know it at the time I took the exam. This is when I was a younger agent. They told us to avoid nasal decongestants. I was like, well, why? But my client used Afrin, and he went to the exam, and it actually affected his numbers.
Yeah, the Afrin can actually increase your heart rate. And an interesting fact there, a lot of inhalers will do that, will increase that rate also. And again, the things that you take into your body can affect that exam.
Shockingly, I don't have this problem because I don't have guns for arms, but there are people that are actually quite large, and sometimes you need a larger cuff for blood pressure. And you should really let the paramed know this. Now, I don't know, do most people have this on their system where they have an extra cuff or they have a large cuff, an extension cuff to do blood pressure?
Exactly. The examiner's usually prepared for both those scenarios. We get that information usually from the agents prior to the exam. They're letting us know that the client may be larger in size, so we need to have that extra large cuff for us.
So, I'm sure that's probably 1 in 10 exams.
Exactly.
Okay, so it's not a big deal. Now, this is the one that really surprised me, I have to tell you. When I saw this on the list, I was kind of caught by this. It says, and it affects your numbers, you need a really good night's sleep. I was shocked about that had such an impact.
You'd be amazed that when you get that lack of sleep, you know how you feel in the morning when that doesn't happen? You feel a little irritable. You're obviously going to have a little higher stress level. That's going to affect going into that exam. We want to have, again, a level function. That's where that daytime, if you don't get that good night's sleep, or it's done at the wrong time of the day, we'd like to reschedule that so we can make sure we get a good result.
Well, I've noticed that, I'm preparing for my exam. I want to get a good night's rest, so but I can't take a sleep medicine, right? I don't want to do that. And I don't want to take an antihistamine like Benadryl is kind of the cheater's way of getting sleep. So I want to come into this exam, and scheduling it at a proper time, that's why I think sometimes you have to see what really works for you. We've been talking about morning exams. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. But I want to really ask you about this issue about when you're scheduling an appointment, everybody has different stress levels at their work. Their work has certain vocational stresses to it, and there's certain times at work where it's really not good to take an exam. And so if you're on a Monday morning, you're having your corporate meeting in the morning, and they're talking about the results of last week, and the last week's results weren't really that great, and you may be called on the carpet. This is not a time to take the exam right before a conference like that.
Exactly. And just with the conference, there's also the physical aspect. There's also the teacher aspect. That's one example I use quite a bit. If you're a teacher, that's something you don't want to do right after your job because that stress level will be high. If you're a construction worker or you're in a physical scenario, that physicalness that you're having prior to the exam is going to change your results that you'll have in your blood.
Well, Kevin, I know that we're not supposed to be working out or having heavy physical activity because apparently it drives protein into your system and so forth and so on.
Exactly.
Now, when we say no physical activity, I'm assuming no conjugal visits here. I mean, right? I mean, I'm trying to keep the show clean, but really no physical activity.
Exactly. They really want to keep it toned down because, again, blood pressure, pulse ratings that we're getting from that. I'm sure that can drive the pulse rate up.
Well, it does for me, and I've been married to the same girl 40 years. So when we come there, they're going to ask us for your ID now. We're going to do all this. They're going to say, hey, I need to match up you can't just substitute yourself for somebody else. Right?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure there's gamers out there, but I'm just saying, you can't. They're going to ask for your ID. You're going to have some kind of government-issued ID.
I think right down the line of the HIPAA side is also the identification. We're going to want to have a picture federal-given ID to identify that client that we're doing that exam on.
I also noticed when they go back on the past, they're asking some of the things that were prepared for the exam. I'm thinking, how far back do I have to go? I mean, is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? They said surgery. Yeah, but I had my athletic surgeries in my 30s and 40s. Well, I'm past that by 10 years, well, a lot more than 10 years. But I'm just saying, how far back do I have to think when I'm preparing for exam? My medical history, my surgeries, my hospitalizations, how far back?
Usually the standard is 5 years. That's going to be for the exam. It's also going to be for the medical paperwork that we'll be getting after that, the attending physician statement.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Remember, before moving forward with any of the ideas on our show, always consult your tax advisor, legal counsel, or your broker-dealer compliance officer. Missed an episode? Go out to our video archives. And remember, you could be wiser as an educated advisor. I'm Steve Saban. We'll see you tomorrow.